So I'm going to talk about Saturn. The last time it was in Pisces and Aquarius because it kind of got tangled up, and I'm going to relate that to the Indigo children. So ultimately, this affects everyone right now in between the ages of roughly like 25, 26 to 23. Um, so Saturn was in Aquarius from February 1991 to May 1993. I'll put the exact dates in the description, but it's easier to just say the month and the year when you're going this far back into the past. So it went retrograde twice during this period. It went retrograde between May and October of 1991 and May and October of 1992. So to me, this suggests that it was kind of struggling a little bit to really get that energy into the planet. And retrograde is like going back. And when Saturn is going retrograde, it's like going back and fixing it. So Saturn retrograde in Aquarius would be like going back and trying to fix society. And so I think that people born with this placement really are here to help bring in the new age. The Saturn return for people that have Saturn in Aquarius is going to be um, between 2020 and 2023. So it takes a while, but you'll see that return in your lifetime. Takes, I guess, about 20 years then. But so this placement, yeah, going back and fixing society is how I see it. And the fact that it really tried to get this energy through and run retrograde twice means it's just a very significant energy, and it can be extremely challenging as well. Like, when you can see all of the things that are wrong with the way that the world is and you just want to help, it's a very humanitarian placement. And to feel called to participate in the world at a very strong level. Maybe it takes this long to fully understand this placement in your chart, because I guess everyone would be coming of age now, like in their early 20s, and starting to really find out who they are and awakening to the fact that they have a really important mission on this planet. So it went into Pisces, and it had some struggles as well. Saturn was in Pisces from May of 1993 to April of 1996, but during that time it went retrograde 3 times, and it actually went back into Aquarius for a couple of months. So that Aquarius energy with the Saturn was really, really trying to come through strong. And the Pisces energy as well is very significant with this. And again, it it kept trying to come through. And so it went into Pisces in May, and then in June it started going retrograde, the beginning of June of 1993. And then on June 30th, it went back into Aquarius, and it stayed there until October, retrograding. And then it was regularly going forward in Aquarius until January of 1994. Then it went back into Pisces, and then it went retrograde in that summer. And then it went retrograde the summer of 1995 as well. And then it left in April of 1996. That'll probably make a lot more sense when it's written in the description. But basically, it went retrograde 3 times, and it went back into Aquarius. So people, that's why I'm mentioning both with this, because it got tangled up. People with Saturn and Aquarius could be the people that are born before this happened, or in between the people with the Pisces energy. So it got mixed up. And to me, it's again indicative of really trying to go back and fix the deepest aspects of society and the core and universal love and spirituality, and really trying to bring these things to the forefront and manifesting them at a very physical level, because Saturn is a very physical planet. It's the laws and the limitations of gravity and having a physical body and karma and sacred geometry and divine harmony. And when it's placed in these last two signs of the zodiac, it's a very deep calling towards a reckoning. And to me, this lines up perfectly with the Indigo children. And it's very interesting to be able to look at Saturn and see what's going on there. And Saturn in Pisces is bringing order to chaos, and it's divine law. It's seeing all of the structure and the limitation and the math and the geometry, but also finding that that is spiritual in nature, and it comes full circle and completes itself. And I think this energy is so necessary at this time, and people that have either of these placements are going to really start feeling this within, the next 5-6 years. People with Saturn and Pisces are going to have their return 2023 to 2026. So it might seem like a long way off, but think about it. When everyone born with these placements are in their 30s, we're going to be the ones with a serious foothold in society at that point. We're building things now, and they are going to come to manifest. And the mission and the calling that you feel in your heart to be true is so real. And it might not seem to be manifesting at the moment, but if you trust and believe, I promise that it will be. Saturn rules time, and it might take a bit. Time is one of the limitations here. If you want to see it that way, it's one way to view it. But it's kind of like when you write free verse poetry, it's beautiful. And when you try to conform it to a structure, you can create things based off of that challenge. When you try to fit things into a box, sometimes you have to be really inventive, ironically. So I think both of these are really creative and artistic placements as well, finding new ways to structure and framework things in a way that's beneficial for everybody. I think that's definitely got to be on the mind for people with these placements when they think about government and politics, is how can everyone be benefited? How can we right all of the wrongs that have been done throughout history? And so it can be a very heavy placement. I would assume that this also affects people in their 40s. I didn't do that research because I'm specifically focusing on how this relates to the Indigo children. But there are definitely other generations with this placement as well. And if anyone has information or data on that, feel free to contribute, because that's really all I'm doing, is trying to collect and assimilate astrological knowledge in order to understand reality collectively. So thank you for allowing me to have this format to share this information, and I hope that it can be enlightening in some kind of way.